SpongeBob SquarePants, a cartoon on Nickelodeon that should have been cancelled after the film's release. As a kid, I used to love this show so much, and as when the show was at its strong points, I got the first game based off of the little sponge titled Legend of the Lost Spatula. It's been over 12 years since I got this game. I mean, back in the day, I was a huge SpongeBob fan, so I had to get the first game, and I played the ever-living shit out of it. But that was years ago. But it wasn't until recently when I finally beat it. Yeah, it was terrible because I was so confused back then. But now that I finally beat this game, I think I'm ready to give out my thoughts. So, do I think it's really good as I played it back then? Well, let's just pop it into the Game Boy Advance and find out. Alright, time for Legend of the Lost Spatula, made by an extinct game company known as THQ, who were responsible for all the SpongeBob games at the time. Someday I'll review these games in the future, but I'm not gonna ramble around and get distracted. Now, the plot of the game is something simple, kinda like an episode from the show. SpongeBob found a weird statue where Mr. Krabs told him it leads him to the underworld. So Krabs told him to head off to Goo Lagoon to find the map to the game, collect all of the oven knobs in each level, so we could get the ultimate kitchen utensil, the golden spatula. Well, there is nothing much to the plot here. I mean, what do you expect here? It's a SpongeBob SquarePants game. The plot should be simple for kids back then. I mean, when I was young, I wasn't expecting something epic or over the top or something. All I can say is just a simple plot to play with. Now, let's move on with the gameplay. You move SpongeBob left to right with the D-pad, pressing down allows him to duck. If there was a small gap, SpongeBob could squeeze into places that he couldn't do in his regular height. To talk to the citizens of Bikini Bottom, you press up on the D-pad, and what they say can be amusing. Oh, Mermaid Man. Now, what puzzles me is that this is the first game that I played where B and A were swapped from what's on other games I've played. You know, when B is jump and A shoots weapons, yeah, that confused me when I was a kid. The locations we can explore in this game are SpongeBob's Block, is where SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward live. There's downtown where you can pass the Bargain Mart, the Chum Bucket, and the Krusty Krab. Outer Town is where you can pass Mr. Krabs' house, Shady Shoals where Mermaid Man lives at, and at the boating school. I advise you to get there fast so you can get the Hall Monitor badge for an extra hit. Yeah, that's right, you take 2 hits and you're dead, but if you take the Hall Monitor badge, it'll give you an extra hit like I said before. But anyway, there's also Sandy's Block, which is just bland and pointless, and there's also Goo Lagoon, which this is the place you're supposed to progress through. Dropping down into the ocean will take you to a secret entrance with this giant chest here. This will allow you to access the map to continue your journey. Traveling through each location awards you an oven knob and an extra task that you have for your friends, like Patrick losing his shorts or getting Squidward some jellyfish jelly. There's nothing much I have to say about the levels, but all I have to say is that they're big and frustrating. Okay, you know what? Trying to make these levels as nerve-wracking as possible is not what I consider interesting. Just to let you know, I don't like games like this, because mixing this with the stiff controls can make this game even worse. Now, do I have to say anything about the bosses? They're all a bunch of jokes. Take this for example. You got this big muscle man right here, and you shoot him with bubbles. Bubbles! That knocks him off the platform. That is just pathetic. And you know what's worse, after you get him stunned enough, you just shoot him with the net launcher. Such shameless. And here's another one. Blow bubbles at this giant jellyfish to trap it. Who the fuck designed this? Yeah, I know this game is geared towards kids, but I would like a better challenge here when I was younger. I mean, face the fact, if I ever make it to these bosses when I was a kid, I'll be heart-shattered. So anyway, to wrap this up, after you take the task from your friends and collecting all the 4 oven knobs, you get the process to the final level. You know, a good thing, if you do the task with your friends, you can get an upgrade to your weapon, like getting All-Reliable, which I've seen in Nature Pants. Or you might get a Hydrodynamic Spatula, which I haven't seen since the first episode. Jesus criminy, this place is a huge-ass dump! This place really does look like hell, and whatever you do, don't get lost in here because you need to process further. That's because what frustrates me is that I go to one spot and I realize that I went the wrong way. So all you have to do is just have to climb up and avoid all the enemies. And the last boss is just a joke. I just chucked Krabby Patties at the Flying Dutchman, and there you go, he's finished. We got the golden spatula, and SpongeBob is titled the best fried cook in Bikini Bottom. Well, I hate to say it to you guys, but I don't think this game aged well. Despite it to be the first SpongeBob game ever made, I'm sorry, I'm not amused. Now, look, I used to like this game back in 2002, but in 2014, times have changed very much. The controls are stiff for me. Even switching the buttons backwards won't make a difference. The graphics are okay. They're not good, but still good enough for an 8-bit game. But I know I don't like everything, but the one thing I do like about this game is the music. I love this game's soundtrack so much. It's so hard to not bop my head or even dance to this beat. That is some good music! Overall, this game left a bad taste in my mouth nowadays. So if you're a huge SpongeBob fan, I suggest this if you're curious. Only if you're curious. I would have given the game a better chance if it wasn't too easy for my age. But it's just my opinion. And all I have to say it's... meh. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go watch a movie.